The Deadpool effect, also known as the Harley Quinn effect, the Venom effect, and the Batman effect. This is when you have certain characters appearing on a cover that people like just because they're on the cover. And unlike Daredevil, Punisher, Silver Surfer, Hulk, there's just some specific characters that whenever they're just on the cover, it seems to be giving a book that should otherwise be a dollar bin book some value.
Damn!
We're joined here by my friend Dark Hawk issue 13, which has Venom on the cover. The funny thing is, these Dark Hawk issues and other various titles that happen to have Venom on the cover, people like grabbing these books. Do they grab up other non-key Dark Hawk covers? No. But they're willing to grab the one with Venom on there. Same thing with Harley Quinn fans. When you're looking at Harley Quinn hunters, especially if it's a 90s or early 2000s, a lot of these nothing books can actually go for $10, $20, and sometimes even more. It gets a little crazy. And the weird thing is it's so niche because there's hundreds of comic book characters between the indies, between DC, and between Marvel, but it really is these four characters that are just so beloved that people just grab them. I wanted to fill you in on one of the earliest collections I got. So when I started collecting Batman, I was getting from 1987, commonly known as post-crisis, so Frank Miller's year one, up until the New 52 started. The collection was focused on grabbing Batman, Shadow of the Bat, Legend of the Dark Knight, Gotham Knights, Detective Comics, any Batman title, but also I was grabbing any Batman cover. So if it was a Green Lantern book, but Batman was on the cover, I got it. If it was a Manhunter book and Batman was on the cover, I got it. Same thing with Deathstroke, same thing with Huntress, the list goes on and on. If Batman's face was on it, I was grabbing it. And it turns out I was hilariously not the only one. I was actually getting some competition to get these total dollar bin books just because Batman's face was on there. Now, unlike Venom, unlike Harley Quinn, unlike Deadpool, Batman's been around for over 80 years. Uncountable amount of covers. People still like getting Batman covers. There's like 10 Batman-related books released a month, and still people like the Batman covers. The Venom, Harley, and Deadpool have a fall-off. It's definitely the first decade and maybe second decade after those characters were introduced that have that sort of value and that sort of desirability. After all, especially Donny Cates and after, you get Venom on like every Spider-Man cover now. It's kind of crazy. And yeah, you get the occasional 1 in 100 variant with Venom on it that people love, but for the most part, people like grabbing up the early stuff. All those weird 90s Venom series that have the die cuts and the foils and the other weirdness. Those are the ones people love. Let's talk about the glow-in-the-dark Venom cover. People love that frickin' thing decades later. No key significance, just a dope thing. And it's kind of unofficially known as like a classic Venom cover. Just like a classic Harley cover, just like a classic Batman cover, just like a classic Deadpool cover. Speaking of Deadpool, he's a fun one to collect in particular because in the 90s and early 2000s, he just wasn't on that many covers. Kind of a lot like Harley Quinn. So when you get a Deadpool cover in X-Force or in some annual or whatever have you, people go pretty crazy for it. And there are some of the ones that are labeled keys, like the first meeting of Deadpool and Wolverine. But then there's other stuff, like even the mid-2000s Wolverine Origins run, there's still some Deadpool covers there that have a nice extra value just because Deadpool's on the cover. I'm sort of coining a term here, the Deadpool effect, because I don't know what else to call it. It seems to be that exclusive to very few niche characters. I was trying to rack my brain and think, does this work with Howard the Duck? Does this work with Lobo? It kind of is for these main four. Can you drop down below if you can think of any other characters where their cover appearance on even like 90s, 80s, 2000s, 2010 stuff adds a little bit of value? You don't see people doing this with Flash. You don't see people doing this with Captain America. So what is it about those characters? So strange. And maybe it's following the whole, it was a new character at the time. But, let's think of another new character, Punchline. Her other covers aren't exactly sought after, or really any character in the last several years. Yeah, maybe Batman Who Laughs, but it's only like the first couple. Have any of you felt the effects of the Deadpool effect? Do you have that style of approach in your collection at all? I buy a lot of collections sometimes, and you run into runs where a lot of times the keys are picked clean. So if I've got a full run of Deathstroke, oftentimes the keys are gone, so you're left with just the fluff. But I've also noticed that the Batman covers were also ripped out just like the rest of the keys. So clearly, people are still doing this, and they're grabbing up Batman covers. In people's eyes, it's as cool as a key. You'd think that would translate to Spider-Man too, but at least in my experience, Spider-Man's on damn near every Marvel cover, so I guess he's too oversaturated. I don't see it really having that extra effect. Doctor Doom, maybe. You know what? I think I just thought up a new one. Doctor Doom. I know my antique shop has been ransacked specifically for Doctor Doom covers, and not just Fantastic Four. If he's on an Avengers or whatever, people do grab those. Just remembered that. I kind of like it too, because it's not a key focused thing. It's solely the cover driving the value, and I think that's actually really cool. After all, we have to care a little bit more than just the keys. We got to care about the full runs. We got to care about cool covers. And I love seeing stuff like this happen. It's a full-blown phenomenon. I might be the first person to mention it, but I wanted to bring it to light because it's definitely happening. Anyway, just something I've been thinking about. See you at the next video. Keep on hunting. Take care.
Make sure to come on down to Sentiment Depot's Antiques and Collectibles, located at 238 West Delaware Ave in Pennington, New Jersey. Find so many great books for just $1 and the lowest prices on key comics around. Enjoy a huge selection of graded comics priced up to 20% lower than current fair market value. We are open from Wednesday to Sunday, closed Monday, Tuesday. You got a collection you want to sell? Bring that too. Can't wait to see you there.